Join us, Millie, Junty and our kids as we find the extraordinary wonder in our ordinary lives. Welcome to Wanderlust.
That looks like a pirate ship.
We've just arrived at the Natural History Museum and it looks like some sort of massive boat that's going to set sail at any moment possible. Incredible, made of all these like wood planks, there's some kind of foliage on the side. Yeah, crazy looking building.
I'd just like to say thank you to one of our viewers, Melvin, who sent us a really beautiful email with loads of information about this place. He actually knew Professor Lee, who is the main curator of this museum, and he shared with us some really, really beautiful things about it that we will show you today.
So we've just got into the museum. We booked online, which is pretty simple. Adults are $20 and children are $8, so it's much easier, just book in. Show ticket, we've come into the first bit and the first section is called Life. So we're going to have a wander around and see what all this is about. These are the little saga seeds that we like to collect. They come from the saga tree. This slice of tree behind me is from the Changi tree, which used to be all over Singapore until during the war they were so tall that they were all chopped down so that they weren't used as landmarks across the island. We found this out when we went to the Changi Chapel Museum, which is a really interesting place to go if you want to find out a little bit more history.
What's great is that they have replanted one just outside the Changi Chapel Museum. And it is about 20 years old now. When it is at its full beauty, it will be something crazy like 70 meters tall. And we really look forward to seeing that grow over the years to come.
There's a long tail and there's a long neck behind the cameraman.
You watch 1,000,001 movies and documentaries on dinosaurs or Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, you don't really understand how big they are until you're right here next to one of the skeletons. It's enormous, and the space here houses them so beautifully. Looking forward to seeing what else we can see here.
This massive crocodile was called Kaiser and it was donated to the museum from the Singapore Zoo and they've preserved it here. This thing is huge. My sister just figured out that it's twice the weight of her. Imagine seeing this stomping around as you're having a swim in the river and then this thing comes up next to you. Terrifying.
Millie and I were once at Pulau Ubin hanging out and we saw a monitor lizard, not quite this size, but it was enormous. We thought it might have been a crocodile or something, but when we saw it we realised it was just a monitor lizard. But it's amazing to see how big they get.
I see 5 scorpions. One over there, one over there, one over there, one over there, and one over there. I only found 3, Mummy.
Are you sure that's not a stick?
It's a stick bow, I promise, Mummy. Auntie Sophie said so.
Is it?
These are really pretty.
This whole section's really awesome. They've got loads of preserved animals and insects here. So when you're really up close to them, you can kind of understand a bit more like the size of them or the weight of them. There's snakes, there's insects, there's a couple of live insects as well. Aspen wants to show me something. Let's go. What is it, Aspen?
Look, I can lizard.
What is it?
Flying lizard. The wings.
Oh, you're right. Number 17 is a horned flying lizard.
Ew. Gross.
Looking at lots of these fish, you can understand why people a really long time ago used to call them sea monsters. Some of them are just terrifying with these horrible teeth and like weird bits hanging off them. You can understand why people are like terrified of going in the sea. Some of these creatures would just really freak you out.
God, it's grumpy. What do you think he's grumpy about?
That he has no food.
Got no food?
Really tiny, Daddy.
So tiny.
Looks like it's wearing a diaper.
I saw the mosquito. Oh, cockroach.
Tiny ones are so small, I can't even picture what they look like.
All the things in the display cabinet have a number and then a little bit of information on it, and lots of these things have actually been found in Singapore, and it tells you the year they were found. I'm hoping some of them are kind of not around as much anymore, because some of them would really freak me out if I saw them walking around Bukit Timah. This is the skin of an elephant.
It is?
Yeah.
These things are gross in this.
For me, one of the highlights of this place is just behind me. It is a sperm whale that was found on the shores of Singapore around 2015. They have no idea how it got there, although they think that it had a huge gash on its back, and they think that it maybe have been hit by one of the propeller blades of a big ship. Over the course of weeks, they cleaned it up and got it ready for display and put it right here. And they also used all the things that they took off the body and all the oils that they took off of the whale to be able to do some tests, which is incredible. A bit more detail for you. It was actually definitely hit by a ship right there on the bone that is lit up, and they found loads of plastic in its gut, and it's really sad to hear that that's what they found, especially we know that there's a huge pollution problem, but when things like this happen, I think it's really important for people to be educated about it and know that it's just not acceptable to litter and to throw stuff not in a responsible manner.
There's a cool augmented reality little app that you can download and then use to look at the dinosaurs as to what they would have looked like. They kind of put the skin and the muscle on. These ones are having a little something to eat with the trees, so that's really fun.
Not a human.
Yeah, this one's a human. That one was an aspen. I mean a monkey. An orangutan.
This place is great. There's lots of other families here going around, some people on their own just reading all of the facts, because it is so much to read here. We've come up to level 2, which has got even more exhibitions, lots of other things to look at. You can come up to the level where the dinosaur heads are, which is pretty cool. As a kid, I loved Dinosaurs. Jurassic Park is still my favourite movie of all the time, so I'm really enjoying finding out little bits more of information and just enjoying being around here and finding out a bit more of the history and some of the creatures that live in Singapore.
This marlin washed up in Singapore, and it can swim up to 130 kilometers per hour, and that one weighs 245 kilos. It's the fastest fish in the world.
That's insane. It's pretty spiky on the end. This exhibition is all about viruses and germs and parasites. Probably going to leave here feeling quite itchy and a little bit grossed out. Yeah, ooh, giant leeches over here. Let's have a look at them. Singapore Jurong Lake. Ew.
This is such a gross little section. Just looking at parasites in bodies, including a human body. This one is roundworm, and then a human appendix, and also roundworm and a human intestine here.
Aspen was a little bit freaked out in there, so we've come back out to look at some more stuffed animals and stuff.
A lot of the collection here started at the Raffles Museum, and over time it moved to the National Museum and then over to here, where the university is. And it's amazing to see that they've managed to keep a lot of the stuff that was preserved back then, back in the 1800s. Some of it doesn't look as accurate as it could maybe, when they kind of taxidermied some of the animals. And I think Aspen was finding them looking a little bit creepy, just because their head shapes aren't quite right, and sometimes their mouths look a bit funny and the eyes look a bit odd, but it's pretty cool to see it all here. The ones here, like 19 and 21 with the museum picture, are showing us that these specimens are more than 100 years old. These guys just look like a load of roadkill.
24 is beautiful.
Paradise.
That's 24.
The one with the blue breast, can you see it? It's got yellow at the back.
Ooh.
we've spent a couple of hours here just slowly wandering around, taking in everything. The kids really enjoyed kind of matching up the number and then reading a little bit more about it, as did we. So there is quite a lot to read.
Yeah, I can't believe we've not been here before. I can't believe it's not been talked about more. It's an amazing museum, and I think definitely one to recommend, and one that you definitely need to come to if you haven't had the chance yet.
Definitely, it's pretty easy to get to. There is a bus from Kent Ridge MRT station. There's a little gift shop here. There aren't any food places around here, so I kind of suggest having some food before or after you arrive. It's just a little tip if you're planning on visiting, because this is actually surrounded by all the universities.
Yeah, it's been an awesome afternoon, and I'm pretty sure we'll come back and spend more time here to check it all out again. And the kids always find something new whenever we come to different places for the second, third or fourth time.
Yeah, they do. Aspen spent most of the time going, oh, that is disgusting, that's hideous, that's creepy, to kind of all of the things in the jars. But
Yeah, whereas mine was just absorbing facts the whole way through, so yeah, it was amazing.
It was, so thanks for coming. Let us know if you've been here and what your favourite part of it was, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.